Hey, squirrels! Check it out! Garmadon sold me this shark for only $5! $5! Ha-ha!
I am so lost on this map! I'm so lost! Whoa! This city makes no sense at all! No sense at all! I think I'm winning! Oh no, I can't slow down!
Ha-ha! Today is coming up all Eggman! Ha-ha!
Squirrel Stampede! Please like and subscribe!
We call the next race. Ow!
On the table, it is all about Sonic the Hedgehog from Jakks Pacific, a new line of action figures, finally finding Shadow. Shadow is the short packed figure of the collection of Series 1, and he is still findable, and so are the others, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow, all here. This is a new line again from Jakks Pacific, taking over from Tommy Toys, or is it Tomy Toys? I can never say that right. They have increased the scale of the figures from 3 to 4 inch, more in line with the Jakks Pacific Super Mario collection. Well, let's get right to these. They are supposed to be bendable and flexible, and include spinning discs. Well, of course, we'll start with Sonic, one of the easier ones to find. I found Sonic first over at Target, running at a real reasonable price at $9.99 that day. On the back of the card, we have an image of Sonic inside the ring, bendable limbs, some kind of folding spinning coin, and collect them all from Series 1, Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Shadow. The package design looking really good with these, with Sonic in front of the ring. Let's open up, see how he runs. Sonic out of package, just leaning a little bit, and a Knuckles coin on top of a display stand. From all sides, Sonic is looking pretty good, although this toy is way more bendy than action figure-y. Looking at those arms and legs, we've got bendable arms that hold their position. He's supporting his traditional thumbs-up hand gesture. And the legs also a little bendy. Head is on rotation, but with all those spines, a little tricky, to get around. As for standing, he's got a pretty solid footprint, so he shouldn't be too hard, although that back end of his quills likes to fall over. There's pretty good balance to the toy. I'm a little surprised it's more bendy-like. I was hoping we would see more Super Mario action figure-like with these, but it is different and it's holding well as an action figure still, so I think we're okay. And a really good overall modern look on Sonic. No bandana like we see in Boom, or shiny metallic like we saw in 25th Anniversary. I did like retro pixelated Sonic. And the Lego Sonic was totally awesome. So included we have these spinnable discs. Sonic comes with Knuckles. It's a little weird how they've arranged these. And to spin, I think you just kind of push down with your finger and do that. There we go, finally hit a Sonic. And not to be undone with just spinning of a disc, we can transform these somehow. Into an actual retro 16-bit Knuckles. That's a pretty cool little gimmick extra to come with the toy. Could have used a couple rings though, right? Okay, well let's go visit Tails. Tails, one of my favorites. What's with the spacesuit? On the back of the card, an image of Tails, and Tails comes with an Amy spinnable coin. Bendy plastic is always so much heavier than regular action figure plastic. It'll be interesting to see if Tails can hold up those two giant tails back there. Let's open and find out. Out of the pack with Tails, and yes, indeed, those tails are heavy. He's probably going to have to hunch just a little bit to hold those up. Pulling out the arms forward may help balance a little bit. Overall, actually, really cute. Same with Sonic and the bendy arms. You can always tell toys are bendy when you look for those two little hole punches. See down by his feet there? That usually means there's a wire inside. Probably has to do with how they construct them. and you can move them about. The gloves are soft, these shoes are heavy. There might actually be some movement in these tails. I see those 2 holes again. But there's such thick plastic, I think the most you're going to be able to do is kind of pull them down a little bit, which I'm kind of worried about because I don't want to start causing fatigue in the plastic, so I'm just going to kind of leave them hanging. And head rotation on tails. Not too bad, he's standing pretty well. Although again, I was hoping for more action figure. Anyhow, we have a spinnable disc included of Amy. Does anyone want to tell us when Amy arrived in the Sonic franchise? Where is she going right now? Almost like she's rolling off screen. Oh, sorry Tails. Let's see if we can fold out the disc. Just find the notch and it just rotates out. I'm so glad they included these little base holders. That's something they usually forget about in toys, is keeping them standing upright. And there we have Tails and Amy. Interesting that Amy has a spinnable disc, but she does not have a figure going on in this first wave. Perhaps they will create down the line. Well, I like what they did with Tails. Let's move on to Knuckles. Knuckles is on the table. Really liking the new bendable scale this time around. And we have an image of Knuckles inside the ring, bendable limbs, and a foldable spinning circle of tails. Too bad we can't just punch Knuckles out of the pack. And opening up. Knuckles out of the box, probably with the most spiky fists I've ever seen in a toy. Ooh, ah, ee. Those are pretty sharp. Also with the bendable limbs. Not the most range with these, if you've noticed. Sometimes they just kind of bend right back. The legs are pretty good with those huge feet. I like his little Lego brick feet too, by the way. What's going on with that? Those fists though, he's got his quills down on his head, tail sticking out. Thank goodness for heavy feet with these. I think we'd have a super problem. He's standing the best out of the 3 so far because of these giant shoes and because he doesn't have giant tail sticking out or giant Sonic quills. They've done pretty well with Knuckles. And our spinnable disc from Tails. Those are kind of tricky to spin. Let's just see what he looks like here. There we go. Tails actually has both his tails and his body, which makes me realize I missed something on the Knuckles spinning disc. His back spines. Glad I saw that now instead of later. Love the retro stuff. Hope to see more like that from Jakks Pacific. And finally, Sonic the Hedgehog Shadow from Jakks Pacific. Shadow being the tough figure to find, short-packed, not as easily peggable as Tails. Took a few trips to Target to finally find a Shadow, usually found online for 2 to 3 times the cost of the other figures. On the back of the card, an image of Shadow bending about, and a fold and spinnable Sonic included. And let's spin out of package. What? Oh, Shadow, always doing things your own way. Out of package with a Shadow and spinning coin Sonic. Some pretty cool detailed paintwork going through Shadow with those red markings. Shadow with a claw of one hand and a fist for the other. Funny, it feels like the arms might just run right through the torso. We can move his fist around by moving his hand around. Did the others do that? Huh, sure enough they do. So you can get a little movement on the opposite arm when you move the other arm around. That wire stretches all the way through. Nice shoes, by the way, Shadow. Okay, our Sonic spinnable coin. Anyhow, let's unfold. There's his spines. There'll be 2 folders for this one as well. And there is our classic retro Sonic included. Nice little extra pieces to the collection. And there are the 4 characters we saw today. They're bendy, they're heavy, but they look like a Sonic toy and they run like a Sonic toy. And with the spinnable coin gimmick and the good price point, I give my Sonic thumbs up on these figures. Here's hoping for future waves from Jakks Pacific and Sonic the Hedgehog. Hopefully more Super Mario action figure like next time. Wah-ha! That's what I have to say about that.